Steven Crowder, Nanette. I gotta fucking talk about this. Apparently, Hannah Gadsby. For those of you who don't know, Hannah Gadsby is a comedian. Who had a stand-up special called Nanette, and the stand-up special itself was I was going to cover this. The stand-up special itself was going to be about how, you know, we understand when somebody punches down in their comedy, but how about when you actually are, you know, like showing your experiences and explaining your experiences as like, you know, like a lesbian woman growing up in like a really anti-queer environment. And when you make jokes out of that like horrible experience, you're kind of like, you know, people are just laughing at you at those experiences, and it's not necessarily a good thing. So obviously, I'm explaining her stand-up special in the most reductive way possible, but everybody immediately was like, "This is brilliant. This is brilliant. Thank you so much." It wasn't about haha laughter. It was more so about a TED Talk about how like comedy is actually bad. Okay? So, like comedy in general is actually not great because you know, you're ultimately making a joke about like your marginalization. And everybody was saying that like Hannah Gadsby's a brilliant comedian. I fucking hated it. I'm gonna be honest. I was embarrassed to like openly talk about it because so many fucking libs I know in the media were like promoting her and shit. I just like, I don't have a problem with Hannah Gadsby in general. I don't give a fuck. She can do whatever she wants, you know? Good for her. You know, make all the TEDx, TED Talk comedy specials you want. But your Hannah Gadsby take is always the fucking worst. She was a comedian for years and she isn't fucking anti-comedy. That's a stupid way of understanding the special. I will literally never be able to just reach people that just simply are like, no, I like that special, and I agree. Okay?
I see Steven Crowder on screen, yuck.
Here's the thing. I love comedy. Okay? I love comedy. All different types of comedy. Okay? And I think that comedy is an incredibly, profoundly important way of being able to build empathy, okay? Comedy is a keystone, a cornerstone for intersectionality, okay? A lot of incredible art comes from struggle and marginalization, and I think that someone who was a comedian for the longest time, for their entire career, turning around and just being like, well, you know, I made all these jokes about my own personal struggles and my own personal marginalization, and I now realize that that wasn't actually great. Yeah, that sucks. That is an incredibly cynical and really just bad way of looking at comedy and satire as a tool, right? If I did not enjoy comedy, or if I did not view satire as an important tool, I wouldn't do hogwatch. I wouldn't be doing all this shit, right? And ultimately, Hannah Gadsby's special was just not funny. Like, it was just not, the Nanette special was just not funny. It was not supposed to be funny. It was not funny. It was sad. And it was more so like her just basically being like, all jokes ultimately, even if you yourself are making jokes about your own personal struggles and your own marginalization, I am going to I'm going to tell you now that that's still wrong. Okay? You didn't like Hannah's material because you actually like comedy? Exactly. But the reason why I didn't like Hannah Gadsby's special Nanette is exactly the same reason why I didn't like Dave Chappelle's last special. Because that's literally what Dave Chappelle did. He did Hannah Gadsby, but from the other side. Okay? Like, he did, the essence of Hannah Gadsby's stand-up special was basically like, you know, just not funny. It wasn't about being funny. It was about conveying a message, okay? And that's what Dave did too. Now, Dave had more jokes than fucking Hannah Gadsby, okay? Dave also had, you know, some other groups that he made fun of, and you know that's a separate conversation. But it was basically like a fucking TED Talk about being a TERF with like a couple jokes sprinkled into it. So I said this yesterday. I was like, Dave Chappelle is fucking Hannah Gadsby, but for transphobia. And it sucks. It sucks to see because I'm a fucking Dave Chappelle fan. Okay? Worst part is you can have your special be about a message, still have it be compelling, and still have a little comedy mixed in. Bo Burnham's inside. Yeah, I mean, it was just like there is no world in which you can be like, yeah, that was really funny when Dave Chappelle said, I'm Team TERF. Like, that's not a funny joke. It's just like him making a statement, right? And basically, I guess Hannah Gadsby came out and said something about this.
Beep boop, we out.
Gatsby is trending this morning because Dave Chappelle decided to take aim at. Can I say her? What do I say? Is it Z?
I don't really know.
I don't know.
I thought it was a her.
I think it's her.
It is ma'am.
I don't know.
Bro, the only time these motherfuckers like fake want to be accommodating is when it's a cis person. Like, what the fuck? Dude, just like, even if you don't know, just say they if you want. Like, but
the darkest period of my life, I was bedridden with a knee
like, what the fuck?
Just landed
bro,
in
they
amazing
literally
job as head
can't.
bartender and life
They just
feels
can't.
real
They
again.
like the
Also,
only
sorry for spamming
time
the bone yolk
they're ever gonna
as buff.
look like they're being accommodating is to still be transphobic. It's wild. They're only doing that because they know she's a woman. Yeah, exactly. Like, she's a fucking woman. Okay.
Honestly don't know.
I don't
I'm
either.
going to
That's-
go with whatever Hannah Gatsby's preferred pronouns are. So Dave Chappelle listed some conditions on what would be required for him to meet with the trans community. Then I want to get to an article from Variety to show you how far down the slope we've gone. But here are Dave Chappelle's comments.
To the transgender community, I am more than willing.
Like, this like Dave Chappelle addresses being canceled 5-minute monologue was so fucking dog shit, dude. I just remember how he fucking made a promise that he was just gonna shut the fuck up about the trans shit and like move on and like go back to his like regular material or any other kind of material. What happened? What the fuck happened, dude? Just do that, please. Like, I say this as a fucking fan, okay? I'm just like, please, dude, please let this one go. Please, like, so that it's easier for everyone else to just like act like it never happened, okay?
Tomatoes at bad comedians. Now
Like, even the fucking trans Netflix employees are like, we're not trying to fucking take the special off. Can you please just like, you know, reallocate funds to highlighting trans experiences and like trans content creators and shit. Meanwhile, everyone's like, no, you need to keep talking about this. This is the only thing you need to keep talking about. Cancel culture and trans people.
Some acoustic panels will kill that echo / reverb.
It's because all engagement is good engagement. Being canceled puts them in the spotlight again. Yeah, except Natalie, ContraPoints, had a fucking brilliant point about this. And it is that, like, it's a pathological obsession, okay? These sorts of, like, phobias are pathological and they fucking ruin. They absolutely ruin art. And it's ruining his art. You know what I mean?
Yup.
Like, it's not good. It's just like, it sucks. He talks about he talks about the trans community in the same way that hogs talk about Antifa, or in the same way that hogs talk about the trans community. Anyway, maybe there isn't more trans content because it isn't good. Not trying to downplay trans people, but if it was good enough for the platform, would be there? Would it not be? Bro, that's an insane fucking take. Like, what are you gonna tell me that like meritocracy in the art space is real? Are you insane? There's plenty of fucking incredible trans content creators, dude. No, it's just that like for the most part, trans people are too busy, you know, trying to fucking not get brutalized for being trans all day, every goddamn day. But there are still incredible trans content creators out there because that kind of marginalization does create good fucking art. Listen to Sophie and say that again. Trans creators don't make trans content. What the fuck? So that the other part about that is that like just because you're trans doesn't mean you have to fucking make content about the trans experience. That's another like silly thing. That's really dumb of you to say and transphobic. Wait, what did I say? Like, The Matrix was made by trans people. One of the most like one of literally the pivotal most important fucking movies of like this generation, which many Zoomers don't even know about now, but like literally like for millennials, like probably the most important. Like it literally changed the way people see the world. It changed the way that like art was made. Matrix, the first one, is literally a story about a trans person coming out, basically. Like a trans coming out story made by the Wachowski sisters, who are trans women. And like now the red pill concept that you fucking hear bastardized by like all these fucking PUA people are, you know, they're literally ripping the content of two trans creators who saw The Matrix as an allegory to being trans. Most mimicked by garbage AAA movies, not that influential. The most mimicked by garbage AAA movies, not that influential overall. What? Chat will literally say anything, dude. First of all, this literally betrays this, okay? Most mimicked by garbage AAA movies means that it's like overall an influential thing, even on that front. But having said that, motherfuckers will literally say anything in my chat. Like, The Matrix is not that influential. Like, what are you talking about? Red pill as a concept, even now, is still utilized. The Matrix is a word that is in like common vernacular. Are you fucking high, dude? Are you out of your mind? Sequels are trash. Straight up. They were trash. I admit that. It was considered to be like a paradigm shift. You know what I mean? I can't think of a single other movie.
Take the purple pill to solve the 9-month sickness.
I can't think of a single other movie that has had such broad like cultural impact. In our generation, I mean. People are saying Star Wars, I guess, but yeah, I guess, but I was not fucking around for the cultural impact of Star Wars. Also, let's not forget that it also started the concept of fake reality, Cytopia movies. Without the Matrix, we wouldn't have had the others.
1-0.
Anyway.
To give you an audience, but you will not summon me. I am not bending to anybody's demands.
Lost the gay community.
And if you want to meet with me, I'd be more than willing to, but I have some conditions. And thirdly, you must admit that Hannah Gadsby is not funny.
That was great.
All right.
That was awesome.
So, look, I hate when people just say, "Oh, that person's not funny because they disagree with their politics." It's lazy.
Yeah.
That being said, this was couched in this was a joke from Dave Chappelle, and it was a funny joke. Now, Hannah Gatsby
Dude, when I want to know what fucking humor is good to laugh at, I go to Steven Crowder, the ultimate comedy understander. You know what I'm saying? This is Mr. Comedy, dude. Everything he does is funny. I mean, he's the funniest guy on the planet. So you got some of the best people defending Dave Chappelle and his like comedy chops. You know?
Hannah's credit, responded hilariously on Instagram. This was a while, just a couple days ago, but to this whole controversy.
Yeah.
Ew, shit, comedy's dead. Hashtag I killed it. What? Hey, Ted Sarandos, just a quick note to let you know that I would prefer if you didn't drag my name into your mess. Now I have to deal with even more of the hate and anger that Dave Chappelle's fans like to unleash on me every time Dave gets $20 million. Dollar it is to process his emotionally stunted partial worldview. You didn't pay me nearly enough to deal with the real world consequences of the hate speech dog whistling you refuse to acknowledge. Tad, fuck you and your amoral algorithm cult. I do fuck with more backbone than you. I do shit with more backbone than you. That's just a joke. I definitely didn't cross a line because you just told the world there isn't one. What? Yo, I'm sorry. Fucking Hannah Gatsby's just not funny. She's like the least funny Australian. Australians literally are like automatically funny, dude. Like they're how are you like an Aussie and not funny? I don't understand. They're some of the dumbest motherfuckers I've ever met in my entire life. Automatically funny. Okay? They're sick cunts. How are you Australian and not funny? Okay, it's just like, it's whatever. Same side as Crowder. I mean, I don't think that she's great. Okay, I'm sorry. She's probably a very nice person, and like I said, I'm not like, oh my god, I fucking hate her, right? But this is like a childish retort, you know? It would have slapped if she actually was funny. Anyway, Australians are so dumb. The turfs are ridiculous. Anyway, as I was saying though.
Nice.
Wait, where the fuck were we? So, yeah, she said, trans is beautiful, comedy's dead, I killed it. Yeah, no, I think comedy has been killed. Unfortunately, I think comedy is dog shit for the most part, but for a multitude of reasons, and definitely not because of fucking Hannah Gatsby's special. I think comedy has been killed because motherfuckers constantly have turned comedy into like, is this acceptable? Is this not acceptable? And then like the only thing people talk about is whether or not we can talk about things and how bad it is when we talk about certain things. Because people like literally cannot comprehend how comedy is created. Okay? Comedy sometimes is hurtful. You can punch up, you can punch down, but there's still a fucking punch. Okay? And punches hurt. The problem is when you punch down, especially, okay? If you fucking miss, if you swing and it's not funny, then it's just a dog shit joke that leaves everybody cringing. And that's the worst thing that can happen. Just bombing, right? But people see that and go, oh, that's an indication that this person is a horrible monster. Okay? They look at someone who's trying to be funny and they think to themselves, oh my fucking God, you're a monster. You're like a bad person. You're literally a bad person. It's like, no, that person is trying to be an entertainer. Okay? They're trying to be an entertainer. They're trying to be funny. And sometimes when you broach edgy subjects or when you talk about issues that are hard to qualify or when you remove something of its context, then that can come across as like deeply unfunny. Okay? And the punishment for that is cringe. The punishment for that is people being like, you're just not a funny person right now, and that sucks. Okay? It's death. So, That, and by the way, the other thing I was going to say, someone said Tim Dillon is an actual comedian, insanely funny. Tim Dillon has really funny bits. And Tim Dillon has some straight dog water. But that's just how comedy is. Not everything is going to be a fucking major hit. You know what I mean? Even Dave Chappelle's old stuff, which is now regarded as like some of the best. Okay, dude, I'm going to run the ad right now because people are being really fucking annoying in the chat. Okay, it's top of the hour. I'm running the fucking 60-second ad break. Please shut the fuck up, chat. You got me, okay? You literally got me. I'm in the middle of a fucking point. I don't want to run the ad break right now. And you're fucking forcing me to run it because you're literally losing your shit. Here's the ad break. You can subscribe if you don't want to fucking see the ads, okay? You won. You won by brute force. You brute forced it. You didn't do like any clever fucking segues. You just brute forced your way into me running the fucking ad break. I hope you're excited. Okay? If you subscribe, you can avoid the ads for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime. If you have a Twitch Prime, it's fucking free. You get one free subscription a month. Here's the ad break now. So the point is, as I was saying, like when a musician makes songs and some of them are skips, you just go, this is, this album hit. There were some really good fucking songs in here. Some of them were made exclusively top 40 and some of them were fucking skips, right? When a comedian has jokes that are not funny, it's so much worse. Because for a lot of people, especially because comedy is like best when it's talking about your own personal experience or when it's like insightful and pointing out something that's like deeply flawed within our societal formations or whatever, right? That is all of a sudden straight up a indication that you're like a horrible monster who believes these things, right? Not funny for you? What? I don't understand. Are people still like, this is the most pro comedy fucking take on the planet. If you can't comprehend the words that are coming out of my fucking mouth, you literally are just like so delusionally lost in the sauce. I'm not only fucking shitting on Hannah Gadsby, but I'm also simultaneously explaining to a lot of people who like misunderstand the point about like a good fucking stand-up special and how comedy is created. If you don't hear the words that are coming out of my mouth, that means you are blindly and delusionally fucking just saying, you didn't like the Dave Chappelle special because he fucking doesn't, he just hates humor. He's SJW, we got him. Like, you literally are not understanding the point I'm making. Okay? Like, you can't be more pro-comedy the way I'm fucking describing this. Anyway. So, and that's why I was always very critical of Hannah Gadsby's special because I felt like it was too critical of like the art form that is best when created by people who are perfectly describing their experiences. Okay.
Your boy has made IT to the 5-month mark.
Honest question, would you ever do stand-up? No, I'm dog shit. I love comedy. I've been a comedy enjoyer my entire life, but I'm not very funny. I'm not a very funny person. I wish, but it's definitely a natural skill that people have.
Getting a second interview for a job in my field finally feel like I'm getting there. Thanks for keeping me company.
But it's something that you also need to like work at a lot.
Death is
here. I'll just show you fucking George Carlin talking about punching up versus punching down. It's a fucking clip that's been used a million times over. Okay, here.
I would defend to the death his right to do everything he does. The thing that I find unusual, and it's not a criticism so much, but his targets are underdogs. And comedy traditionally has picked on people in power, people who abuse their power. Women and gays and immigrants are kind of, to my way of thinking, underdogs. And, he ought to be careful because he's Jewish. And a lot of the people who want to pick on these kind of groups, the Jews are on that list a little further. You got women, gays, gypsies, blah, 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 and then suddenly you find Jews. And Andrew,
suddenly Andrew's arrested.
Yeah, so, you know, I mean, obviously he should do what he wants. And
why does he get away with it, do you think, then? Well, we have never laughed at jokes about the
Well,
poor.
he's appealing. I think he's appealing largely. I think his core audience are young white males who are threatened by these groups. I think a lot of these guys aren't sure of their manhood because that's a problem when you're going through adolescence. You know, am I really? Could I be? I hope I'm not one of them. And the women who assert themselves and are competent are a threat to these men, and so are immigrants in terms of jobs and the
so that's why we as an audience then will laugh.
You say we. I don't think you're.
No.
But I think you're
collective we.
I think that's what is at the core of that experience that takes place in these arenas. Is a certain, you know, a sharing of anger and rage at these targets. And I'm sure Andrew isn't that angry at them. I'm sure he's playing it as a comic.
Nothing really changes, does it? I mean, dude, well, of course, this is still relevant because this is just at the heart of the matter. That's why. Like, he's correct that there are ways to make jokes about fucking people who are marginalized, okay? There are ways to make jokes about people who are marginalized, and you absolutely can. But oftentimes the reason why people from the outside looking in who can't comprehend like the humanity of those people are often just going, that's weird. That's really weird, right? To a crowd of other people that are fearful of that same group and go, yeah, you're right. That is weird. Haha. Thank you for pointing it out. Finally. Rather than like actually being able to craft a fucking joke about the experience itself, is because like it's the same energy. It's the same fucking unreasonable fear work that, you know, it's the same unreasonable fear that people have.
Hey, chat. Hope your day is going well. Love you.
Carlin did really great
Hasan.
anti-cop material that lands with a broad audience because he applied these principles.
Help the police. When I was a kid and we went to the movies, we rooted against the police and for the crooks, and I still do. I love the crooks. I don't give a shit if they come to my house and kill my entire family. I'm on their side. I'd rather spend 16 hours stuck in an elevator with a couple of crooks than even say hello to a fucking policeman. You don't help the police. They're not on your side. Don't you understand this shit yet? They work for the state. They'll plant fake evidence. They'll put a loaded gun in the hands of...
No, you can't joke of any minority when you talk to the public. Say the joke for your friends. Man, shut the fuck up, dumbass. Like, seriously, shut the fuck up. Like, you and others like you unironically jump to that fucking stupid, idiotic fucking take. Like, why? Why? Look, that's boring as fuck, okay? That's a boring fucking way to live your life. I'm sorry. I don't give a shit. Shut the fuck up, okay? That's not who I am. If that's what you thought that this was going to be, after all of these fucking years of being in my chat, and you still have this kind of point of view and you're like deeply upset with me for also saying fuck that shit, then you're mistaken. Like,
of an unarmed man they've shot to death. They harass minorities, they brutalize people, they deny people their rights, and they lie about it all in court all the time. They perjure themselves routinely. But they don't squeal on each other. They're not rats. So take a page from their book, but never ever help them. And above all, don't plea bargain by turning in a friend. Tell you what, some of you religious people out here, you religious folks, on Judgment Day, when you see God, ask him if you can plea bargain. Ask him if you turn in your family, will he let you into heaven? You know what he'll say?
dude, I'm not going to watch this 40-second animation of me right now, okay? I'll do it afterwards, okay? Just fucking wait. Like, I'm in the middle of something. We're covering a story. You keep spamming it over and over again.
You say, go to hell. You say, go to hell, you fucking squid.
No, it's probably awesome. It looks great. And I will look at it. It's just like, but not right now.
Because even God hates a rat. You know what Jesus should have done? He should have beat the shit out of Judas. Just grabbed him by the beard and beat the shit out of him. Right in front of the other apostles. Make an example out of him. You fucking squealing prick, Judas, you cocksucker. You realize I could turn you into a fucking pillar of salt if I want? Turn you into a fucking monkey. How is I can be a fucking monkey? Where's the money? Where's the fucking $30? Give me the $30. I'm fucking buying beer for the rest of these guys. But they didn't fucking rat on me, you prick. But he didn't do that. He didn't do that. You know why? You know why he didn't do that? Because he believed in all this goofy love bullshit. But you notice something else. He did not plea bargain with the Romans. And he didn't squeal on the apostles, you know? He kept his big fucking yap shut, and he took what was coming to him. We can all learn something from Jesus, even if it's not what we're expecting.
Good example of how you can joke about marginalized groups.
A lot of people mad at Dave Chappelle right now. It's interesting. And here's my thing. He's been doing comedy for a long time. I feel like you should be able to write a trans joke without offending people. I was high the other day. I wrote this one. Check this out. I'm honestly kind of jealous of trans men, right? Because they're completely men, and them niggas get to have cute feet. I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's fucking fair. I want to go to the Korean nail spot, and the old lady, when she sees me walk through the door, go, fuck! Right? That's what I want, man. See, you can do that shit and not offend everybody. That was fun, right? Here's another one. I was
trapped out trying to.
The difference being Dave's a straight up turf. I mean, dude, there is like, you can even like move the marginalization to a different fucking joke that like, I mean, the classic bit is like, you know, I'm a trans inclusionary radical fucking misogynist. It's just like trans women are women, and that's why they suck, because they're women. Like that. Like, there's so many different kinds of fucking. There's just like so many different kinds of fucking jokes that you can make about trans people. That would also piss off the TERFs too, which is like a double whammy. And clearly, like that's a joke. Like obviously, that's an exaggerated fucking thing that you're saying. And most people are not going to be like, "Oh my god, you literally hate women. What the fuck?" Yeah, true. Get in the kitchen, trans women. But because it's like laughable at that point. When you're, you know, you're doing like old ass fucking misogynistic jokes. Dude, just say you like their little hole. That's it. Yeah, dude. The only first of all, like this notion that like if you're pro trans people, like you just want them to survive means you want to fuck all trans people or some shit. Like you're a chaser is insane.
Love you, Hasan.
Like an insane fucking take. Anyway, it's actually funny to watch these right-wing grifters jump on Dave's bandwagon when you know they hated his takes during his woke come up, illuminating systemic racism. It's sad to see where Dave cop sprinkle crack on dead black bodies Chappelle is right now. Yeah. Well, the difference between that and this is that, like, if you're coming from a place of like understanding, and if you're coming from a place of explaining your own marginalization, you're going to be fucking fire. Like your jokes are going to be great. Okay. And that's why Dave Chappelle's jokes about that sort of stuff, being poor or being black, that's all incredible because it's real, it's personal. Okay. And it makes this experience incredibly palatable, and it can cause people to have empathy. Like you can literally fucking feed people, drip feed people empathy that way, right? And that's dope. And someone like Dave, who's able to do that, is absolutely capable of making great trans jokes. And that's the worst part about it. You're literally cucking yourself. Like Dave Chappelle could make incredible trans jokes. 0% chance that he is incapable of doing that, okay? But that comes from understanding the trans experience, or like literally treating trans people as human beings, like full-blown human beings, not just the one trans comedian that you know that you're like kind of using as a fucking talking point in your special to be like, oh my god, like, oh my god, like I have a trans friend. And that's the worst part about it for me specifically, as someone who loves Dave Chappelle and as someone who loves comedy. That's the worst part about it for me specifically. It's like he has the capability of doing that and he's not, because he just like doesn't give a shit. He does not care. It's easy hack fucking material. You have a pre-built audience. Being like a fucking transphobe and talking about how shitty trans people are or whatever the fuck, or how like annoying they are. They're constantly chirping on the timeline, whatever the fuck. That as a built-in audience. A built-in audience that's going to go, you're so right, brother. You're so fucking right, brother. It's hack shit. That's not me being a comedy police. That's just me saying, like, that's hack shit. He's going after a pre-built audience that's conditioned to go, yep, one of us, one of them good ones. Yep, yeet. Didn't like it when you were talking about white folk, but sure understand your jokes now. And it's the same energy as like a fucking podcaster being an ivermectin fan. You know what I mean? There's a built-in audience for that. So you're shilling ivermectin because there's a built-in audience for that. You're talking about cancel culture because there's a built-in fucking audience for that. People are like, yeah, that's right. Please give me more of this. And it's trash. I mean, being woke at a built-in audience as well, Sundance is arguably bigger. First and foremost, being woke is not like a fucking real position, okay? No one is woke. That's not a real thing. That is woke in the way that we understand it is a commodified capitalist brand position that only a corporation can at least aesthetically achieve, okay? Motherfucker says Sundance is woke, dude. Harvey Weinstein's like, you know, stomping grounds. Sundance, so woke for so many fucking years.
Wow.
Okay? Wokeness is not a real thing. Everyone has privileged blind spots. Okay? Everyone. There are a lot of things that I can't comprehend, okay? So this notion that like someone is like perfect, someone's the perfect being, you're not perfect.
Thanks
you're
for
fucking boring.
everything you
Even
do,
if you
Sam.
literally
I
have
used to be
never
a
said
Republican
anything
kid in high
horrible
school,
in the
but by the
past,
time in
okay?
college and 3
Or
years
anything
influence, I've
bad,
become a much
that
better
just simply
person
means
and
you
recently
are,
joined
what
the
are you,
DSA.
Mormon? Is that what it is? Like, what the fuck happened to you? Like, that doesn't mean you're perfect. That means you suck, okay? That's what makes humans beautiful, okay? Our imperfections. So even if you don't have any like, oh no, what are you talking about? I've never said a bad thing. First of all, that's not true. Literally, key search Asian on anyone's fucking profiles. When they shit on someone, you will find a boatload of anti-Asian sentiment. Like, you just easy. That's an easy cookies for you. Whenever you see someone be like, man, I can't believe this person said that, just key search Asian on their profile. Go back to like 2009. Anyway. So everyone's got some fucking what? So everyone is racist because you were cringe as fuck? Man, shut the fuck up, gank your waifu. That's not what I'm saying. If you consider yourself to be a leftist or a progressive, then you recognize that everyone is growing up and being socially conditioned to believing certain things in a capitalist, oftentimes white supremacist, and very bigoted society. You can't hold on to the position that the core of our culture is coming from the material conditions that we are living under, that we're existing under, that is ultimately very racist, ultimately very homophobic, ultimately very fucking bigoted, and also predisposed towards like continuing oppression, and then turn around and be like, well, that's crazy. I'm not like that. I never had a fucking bad thought. It's like, dude, it's in every facet of our education, in every part of our society. Of course, people are going to be fucking bigoted until they recognize that they're wrong for feeling that way, until they learn empathy. Okay? And if you personally have never had like a serious, I don't know, if you've never had like any fucking bad takes or anything like that, then you must have lived an incredibly fucking sheltered life. Okay, congratulations, you're the most woke. That doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is growth, okay? What matters to me is recognizing the flaws in the way that you operated in the past and then changing that, okay? Otherwise, I wouldn't do what I fucking do. Like, I literally would just not... Why am I doing this? If nobody's capable of change and people are good and then some people are bad and they will never be good and they will always stay bad. If you've ever said something bad, then that must mean that you are reduced to that fucking individual moment in your life and you're always going to be a bad person. No way for growth. No room for growth. It's like idiotic. The reason why I'm talking about all this shit is that a lot of great comedy comes out of that imperfection. And Dave Chappelle is great at communicating that to people. Unfortunately, though, his last couple stand-up specials, Chatter said, "You think you're Jesus?" Wait, what? Dude, we live in such a fucked up planet. If like me saying the most normal shit, like me saying the most normal shit that you, if you sat back and thought about it for a brief moment, would also admit to, makes me Jesus in your fucking eyes, or think that I'm like saying something completely outside of the bounds of reason that no one has thought about. It's just normal. Just be a normal person. Like, be a good person and a normal person. That's all I'm saying. Okay?
"5 months of spamming the chat.
Anyway.
What's up, y'all? I just left school and we had 2 days in a row with a fight.
Shelter people are fucking wild. Some people are born and have a lot of growth potential. Others don't. Yeah, I mean, dude, the never bigoted. I was never bigoted. I never had like a single bigoted thought. It's just, not only is it not true, it's like physically impossible. But even if it was fucking possible, that just means you suck. Like, okay, great. You lived in a separate universe from the rest of us then, I guess. Okay? Straight up. Anyway, so Dave Chappelle's special basically talked about how the situation has affected him now in the upcoming documentary. Affected his upcoming documentary, saying they began disinviting me from these film festivals, and now today, not a film, not a company, not a movie studio, not a film festival, nobody will touch this film. I think Dave was speaking from experience when comparing the struggle of the POC in the US to the struggle of the LGBTQ, mainly pointing out the difference in how quickly society had to adjust to one community versus how slowly it changed for the black community. Society never changed for the black community. That's the difference.
Thanks for the 3/4
it just
of
like got brushed under the fucking rug, and there are more insidious ways of shitting on black people now. Okay? That's the difference. It's just like, that's not, you can't say the N-word. You can't like discuss the humanity of black people as a debate, as a subject of debate anymore, because everyone's like, okay, well then one side of that debate is like a gigantic racist person, okay? And people still do that regardless. Don't get me wrong. Of course people still do that. But like, you can't do that in the same circles that also want you to be nice to the LGBT, right? There's also black LGBT members as well. That's not what I'm talking about right now. Okay? The difference is, so that makes Chad's point more valid? No. The point is, it's aesthetic. Okay? It's just aesthetic. The kindness that you see from Netflix and the literal fucking Dave Chappelle stand-up special is a perfect example of this. Dave Chappelle gets $20 million and makes a fucking otherwise mid-ass stand-up special where he's just like a boomer fucking yelling about like how trans people are too sensitive or whatever the fuck, okay? And says like, I'm team TERF, whatever. And then the trans person that like wants to fucking execute like a walkout or retaliate within the labor force, within Netflix, literally gets fucking fired. And everyone is still talking about how Dave Chappelle is the victim. Okay? That's aesthetic bullshit from Netflix to be like, oh, we stand with our trans community. Like, no, the fuck you don't, okay? You don't. So, he's being silenced, Lamau. Yeah, totally, dude. He is so super silenced. Like, oh, God. If you're working class, okay, if you're a working class person and you think that, like, Dave Chappelle is being silenced, you are the biggest dummy. You know who gets silenced? You motherfucker. If you work at Jiffy Lube, you get fired for speaking out of turn. Okay? You actually get canceled all the fucking time. You are subject to a cancellation every goddamn day. Dave Chappelle is not. That's fucking Dave Chappelle. That's an institution, dumbass. He got silenced by what? Getting $20 million for just his last stand-up special? Wow, dude. They're really fucking... They should silence me like that, dude. Fuck. Anyway.
Wow, 3 months of no ads really does fly by.
So, like, the irony was, like, he was fucking talking to a sold out, like, arena about how silenced he is and how much of a victim he is. And that's like a laughable concept. Unless you literally think, like,
I love you so much,
you know,
Hasan.
no,
So
I agree with him and I like him.
And homosexual, and I thank you
He
for
is
all
being
the
silenced. I
advocacy
stand for
you do.
justice. Yeah, dude, he's so silenced. The most silenced, dude.
The reaction, Netflix, and the trans community. Now, if we establish right here at the beginning that all three of us are supporters of all laws that protect trans people, that we believe in all the dignity, equality, and respect that can be afforded to trans people, can we have an honest, free discussion about this?
Many people don't think so, but
right. Many people. That's what bothers me to begin with. That there is this is what I call the one true opinion. Very apropos of your religion theme, John. There is the one true opinion, and there isn't. There isn't just one true opinion. I'm a free speech guy. Now, I'm Team Dave, but that doesn't mean I'm anti-trans. We can have two thoughts in our head at the same time. Words have meaning, but not anymore. And when I hear transphobic, phobic has a meaning.
Dude, I've heard this exact argument, like, literally from every fucking transphobic person. Oh, God, Bill Maher is just so painfully unfunny. It sucks. It's just like, oh, God. Like, why? Why do we still have these fucking boomers, man? Please replace these boomers with some fucking younger talent. Jesus Christ, I'm losing my fucking mind. It's all like 65-year-old executives working at the behest of shareholders that are also in the same age range, making decisions to continue fucking hiring, 50 to 60-year-old old folk to keep doing the fire hits.
Fear. I'm not transphobic if I merely disagree with you. It's not hate. I mean, here's what one of the reactions from someone who worked at Netflix said: this is not an argument with two sides. Well, right away you lost me. It is an argument with trans people who want to be alive and people who don't want us to be. Well, that's just ridiculous. Dave Chappelle does not want you to not be alive.
Amen.
It's just... And...
There is no other, like, marginalized identity that we, like, recognize as marginalized that you can make this argument for. Like, that's not a real thing. It's so stupid. You can't just be like, dude, listen, like, I'm not anti-black. I'm just, like, pro David Duke, okay? Like, come on. or someone who is like not directly a part of the KKK, but like, I don't know, fucking someone who's like very clearly racist against black people. And you're just like, look, man, like, you know, I'm not anti-black, but like that guy, he doesn't want to kill black people. He's just like saying all the anti-black shit, you know, at a time when like black people are being fucking murdered. He's just saying they're lesser. Yeah, he just wants to. He's not saying trans people should die. He's just siding with people that don't want trans people to exist. And is saying that he's on the team of people that think trans people should not exist. And also making arguments as to why they are either like A, faking it, B, hysterical, C, exaggerating their plight. Like that's insane, dude. It's literally like a fucking, for real, that breaking your arm reaching. Saying I'm team TERF for trans people is like saying I'm team David Duke for black people. TERFs do not want trans people to exist. There's a litany of different subjects. The reason why this conversation is hard to fucking have is because many people are not well versed on trans stuff, and literally low key, no matter what, for understandable reasons, because of deeply rooted social conditioning about how rigid the gender binary has been and how profoundly important it is to everyone's lives, they think trans people are kind of weird. Okay, that's the fucking reality, which is precisely why whenever you shit on trans people and then someone fucking defends that, everybody goes, wait a minute, hold the fuck on, because deep down inside you kind of feel trans people are weird. That's just the reality. And the reason why you feel that way is because you've been fucking conditioned to feel that way. That's why so many trans people are themselves transphobic when they're growing up before they recognize that they're trans. There's trans people in this community right now that are like, yeah, I was transphobic as fuck when I was younger. It's just like literally just built into our it's built into our understanding of ourselves. Anyway, if you say reaching, you're literally so far off. Tourists want to legislate away the existence of trans people. Come to look at the UK and what they're trying here. I mean, it's crazy. It's like, it's wild that like, I can't even fucking be like, TERFs want to literally legislate away trans existence. Like, that's wild that it is so, we're so far away from like, even having a reasonable discussion about this issue, because people are just like, I've never met a trans person. I've only seen trans people. Like, my only experience with trans people is like, they're extremely online and they're fucking yelling at other people on Twitter. And I don't want them to yell at me because I myself secretly also kind of, think like I don't really understand it. And I'm worried that I'm going to say something wrong and then I'm going to be fucking canceled. That's like the most like normal average person fucking take you can have. Okay? Well, now there's a reason why they're yelling all the fucking time. And the reason why they're yelling all the fucking time is because they're extremely combative, because there's constantly shit popping off that literally is like, yeah, you kind of should not do this. You're just weird. Like, you kind of should not do this. Like, that's the lightest and most like innocent way of just like broaching the subject. Even like that other guy who was like, well, I have a trans friend. The other day when we were talking about this, like, oh, well, I have a trans friend, but also like, I'm going to fucking misgender them, like, and tell them not to fucking go through with gender confirmation. Like, that's like a person who thinks he's being kind. You know what I mean? Do you really think Dave is a TERF, or is he just bitter that activism in the LGBTQ community is echoed louder than black activism? Dude, if you think the LGBTQ community's like activism has like been more successful than black activism, without recognizing that like you know, white people can be trans, or white people can be gay, for example. You know, you can still be like a cishet white dude and be gay at the same time. And how deeply rooted America's hatred for black people is, and how codified it is, okay? How it's like baked into literally every single fucking institution. And also simultaneously not recognize that, or did I say cishet gay? Sorry, I meant cis and gay. Shut the fuck up, chat. Shut up. I said something, I said something wrong, okay? Chill the fuck out. Yeah, dude, millions of people around the world marched in the streets of June 2020 for LGBT people. Yeah, dude, Black Lives Matter protests happened all around the world. Where did we get? Did we go anywhere with that? Was there any fucking legislation that passed? Did a single fucking good thing come out of that for black folk? Explain that to me. No, it didn't, so shut the fuck up. That's not the point. No, it is the fucking point. That's literally the point. If you're not seeing that, you're missing at least like a part of Dave Chappelle's point. I do have empathy for that position where you're like, well, what the fuck, dude? You know? We can't get anything. Like, if you're a black person and you're like, oh, this fucking sucks. No matter what happens, like, there's nothing going on. Like, there's no movement. There is no fucking... there is no material restitution at all. Then, you know, I see that. But yes, trans people didn't cause that. Exactly. And trans people were also out there protesting in the fucking streets too. Trans people are not the legislators. They are not the people at the center of power making these decisions to say, yeah, fuck black people. Yeah, actually, no, we're going to fund the police even more than we did before. Okay? That's the problem. So you're just like cucking over and fucking over your allies. It's just a way to divide the working class on boundaries of identity. It's not a fucking competition. Everyone is going through some shit. A fact that Dave Chappelle personally understands and mentioned in his like Daphne part of his special. When he talks about how Daphne said, I'm a human and I'm going through some shit. He gets that. He understands that. Were trans people ever enslaved? That's such an idiotic fucking take. It's just like, do you only have to be enslaved to be marginalized? Like, what a fucking dumb take. I'm not even making that comparison, by the way. Like, that would be a really fucking stupid comparison to make. Also, there are, you know, black trans people, a fact that most people are forgetting. That's the worst part about Dave Chappelle's special, is that like there shouldn't be a rift between the LGBTQ community and the black community. Okay? There is a lot of racism in the LGBTQ community, okay? And there's homophobia in the black community, or bigotry in the black community towards the LGBTQ community. The goal is to make sure that that divide is fixed. Okay? So that everyone can stand in solidarity along class boundaries at the very least, rather than fight amongst themselves. Okay? That's at the heart of intersectionality. Anyway. Maybe the difference is that one group was enslaved not too long ago. Dude, I'm not saying that black people are fucking... How many times do I have to fucking repeat this, dude? Are you stupid? Is it not fitting through your fucking brain? Like, what's happening? Is it not going through... Is it going through one ear and getting out of the other one? Of course. I already fucking mentioned that... like, anti-blackness is literally a core part of living in Western society, okay? Straight the fuck up. In a way that is like incomprehensible or not even comparable to any other fucking identity. I already mentioned that. I understand that. What the fuck?
You know, you're not automatically right if you're trans.
And that's Chappelle's point? No, that's not the entirety of Chappelle's point. That's the root of his fucking anxiety and anger, okay? That's the problem. And I recognize that. And I even am empathetic to what he is saying on that side of the fucking conversation. The follow-up is what I'm fucking talking about. It's so stupid. Hasan, the thing that you see, this is what I mean. The thing is, transgenderism has not existed for that long in human history compared to the enslavement of African folk, which happened for 500 years, dude. You're a fucking idiot. You think you're making a good point, and you're just completely categorically wrong, okay? That is just wrong. You just are so wrong. You have no fucking clue what you're talking about. Transgenderism is not a new phenomena, okay? It didn't just randomly happen out of nowhere where people were like, I guess I'm trans now. Like, that's not a thing. And the reason why you feel that way is because of how fucking pervasive social conditioning has been, especially in Western societies. Motherfucker, like, indigenous folks have had, like, trans people for thousands of years. Shut the fuck up. You are literally just wrong. You are completely fucking incorrect. One of the first texts that Nazis burned in their famous book burnings was literally all of the fucking medical research done on trans people. It's just super fucking wrong. But you didn't know that, but you had the fucking audacity to come in here and just still fucking blurt that out, because you could say that about trans people, and that's my point, okay? Right now, you could just say whatever kind of fucking misinformation you want about trans people, and like most people will probably be like, yeah, I kind of agree with that, okay? And that's the issue. That's the problem. So when in a society like that, you're still fucking turning around and being like, yeah, fuck trans people, actually. I'm going to do that same exact thing. And you get, you know, applause breaks in between that rhetoric. Like, you're doing a bad thing, okay? You're not doing a good thing. And worse, you're not being funny. Okay?
Trans. You're completely equal. You're just not automatically right. And it doesn't behoove everybody to get their mind around very new changes. I mean, we were boy and girl for a very long time. It's only been 10 years since, how long have we had gay marriage? You know, I mean, talking about the Democratic voter, I'm sure there's a guy in Ohio going, I just got on board with gay marriage. Could you give me a minute? This idea that we're not any gender when we're born is very new and very radical, that you're born is just jump ball. But you have a penis.
Yeah, I mean, this entire argument unironically revolves around, like, yeah, that's the reason why he's defending Dave. Most people that defend Dave Chappelle either are just like unaware or are big fans of Dave Chappelle, are completely unaware of like trans people in general, and don't fucking know anything, and they're just like personally a little transphobic. And it's also fucking hilarious that, like, I mean, that's the report right there. That's the self-report. It's just like, I'm actually defending Dave because, like, I also agree with him. And that's it. They're new. They're scary. I don't get it. But I'm not afraid. I mean, phobia means you're afraid. I'm not afraid. You're not afraid of, like, individual trans people. You're afraid of the change that it represents. Okay? Like that's the point. Ultimately, it will change, okay? I believe that progress is inevitable unless, like, you know, we full tilt go fascist authoritarian. So you're afraid of death, you're afraid of dying, and these sorts of like broad systemic changes that go against everything you've learned your entire life is just a constant signal that you're closer to death than you were before, okay? You're just not with it all there, and that fucking terrifies you. And I get that. I'm 30 years old, you know? Shit changes for me too. So I understand that fear, but that fear doesn't necessarily make for good comedy. It doesn't make for good art. You're just like a fucking sad old person afraid of your own demise, your own inevitable demise. So anyway, regardless though, all these like incredibly unfunny people are just defending fucking Dave Chappelle, which is, you know, another example that it's not great.
It could mean you're a boy, but that's that's a very new idea, and I'm not sure I'm down with all of it, and I don't have to be.
Yeah, it's all the same shit. Yeah.
Now I have to deal with even more of the hate and anger that Dave Chappelle's...
Oh, no, he did the same thing I did. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, no. Okay, we're skipping that part. That's so embarrassing. I did the exact same kind of fucking voice that he did.
I make shit.
You don't do
or
it.
I take shit. You don't do shit.
That's so embarrassing for me. Oh, GG's, dude. Oh, fuck. Well, this is why I said I'm not a fucking comic, okay? I'm not a funny person.
What are you painting in shit colors?
It's an Australian thing. Yeah.
It's an Australian thing.
And it goes down the bowl the opposite way.
Right,
you know?
yeah.
I don't know.
Streaks
Maybe it's the New Zealand Drew Carey lookalike thing.
Could be that.
I don't see many people. Oh, do shits with more backbone than you. I guess this is what passes. This is what passes.
Oh, this was funny too. Hold on. Back to Bill Maher for a second. It wasn't in the clip, but he literally said, Bill Maher pushes back on criticism of Chappelle.
HBO's
What
Bill
the fuck
Maher
was that
pushed back.
reaction? And he literally says in his and everybody like criticizing Dave Chappelle, he says, you guys are so fucking stupid. Netflix made a show about Koreans killing one another and no one cares about that. But you care about Dave Chappelle's jokes? House music. Thank you for the 10 gifted subs. Oh, here it is.
There isn't just one true everywhere.
Wait, what? No, that's not what I was talking about. Hold on. Later on the panel with woke racism, really, Dave Chappelle's offensive, but not the show where Koreans murder each other for money? Dude, that's peak humor, dude. This guy, that's a funny guy, dude. Really? Dave's special is offensive, but not the show where Koreans murder each other for money? It is a child brain. Straight up a child's brain, okay? Anyway. I love that documentary, Squid Games.
And people are trying to say, look, she's so much more edgy and subversive. Really? Poopy humor? And I'm not going to make fun of myself? Yeah, look, it's a target-rich environment, Hannah.
Well, Dave, she just made Dave's point. She's not funny, and she just proved it.
I know.
But wouldn't backbone be the last argument you'd use against Dave Chappelle? I mean, my goodness.
Well, she's trying to say that the leader of Netflix, the CEO or the president, doesn't have any backbone.
Right. I would say he does. He's gone against a lot of.
I would love to see those play
decisions.
numbers between Nanette and Dave.
Not a bad take. Violence stimulate more violence than jokes. What? This is 100%. This is 100% and not. This is an anti-gamer. This is the guy that leaves as soon as I mention playing video games, because you have to be. You literally have to. If you have this take, you have to believe that video games cause violence. Okay. Which is also just untrue, completely, categorically, absolutely untrue. What you are referencing is just a falsehood. Yeah. Notice how the world was significantly less violent before the cinema, the invention of the cinema. That's right. Get fucked, liberals. Yeah, that's right. You have no answer for that. You have no answer for that. Movies made the world, everybody knows, a significantly more violent place. Also, more movies are being made and more video games are being made now, and violent crime has historically been lower than ever before. But hey, yeah, why don't you stimulate some bitches, dude? That's right. Fucking got him. Fucking owned, dude. Okay, let's keep going.
Chappelle special, and then I would love to see the thumbs up and thumbs down afterwards. Like, how many people just hate watch Nanette going, this can't really be as bad as people, all right, thumbs down. Don't tell me.
They got rid of the thumbs down because of Amy Schumer's special.
Right.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
If this is AI, I am going to ask Alec Baldwin to hand me a blank gun. So, here's something that I noticed, and a lot of people missed. As a matter of fact, I haven't seen anyone else talk about this. Mm-hmm. Variety wrote about Dave Chappelle's willingness to talk with the trans community. Okay, now let me be really clear. Let me go to the first overlay A. Mm-hmm. They were quoting Dave, and they say they're quoting Dave. It says, "Do not blame LGBTQ community for any of this." Right, Dave. And it says LGBTQ sick. Now, for people who don't know, sick, S-I-C.
That's a funny guy, dude. Dude. Crowder, read a black person without doing a voice challenge. Impossible difficulty, okay? Just impossible difficulty. I love that. That actually does make me a little happy. Like, guys, he's just doing Morgan Freeman. Oh, man. Oh, Jesus Christ.
In parentheses, this is a journalistic term. Some people out there don't know. I know a lot of you do. It's basically saying, I know there's a grammatical error or I know there's a spelling error, but I'm quoting the original source.
Right. Yeah.
So it's a way of saying, hey, I didn't make the mistake. For example, if someone says, hear me roar, and they spell here like being here in this place, you would write hear, sick, me, roar.
Right.
Right? They put it right after LGBTQ. Mm. Now, how do we know what they're correcting? Earlier, you can bet your ass that Variety made sure to write some members of the
Wow, this is like the least important part of this fucking entire story. Like, this is right in his wheelhouse, okay? I mean, Crowder and others like him literally make a living off of, like, talking about cancel culture and being like trans people are weird and scary, blah, blah, blah. And even then, like, this literally dropped into his lap, like a fucking incredibly prominent, very famous comedian, beloved by a lot of people, turns around and does like a mid-ass fucking special and is now talking about the cancel culture and the backlash and whatnot. And even then, he's like still flubbing, dude. Come on, this is like what you're supposed to do. This is your wheelhouse. Why the fuck are you covering like the sick part of it? Okay. Anyway, Crowder makes his living off of that, just like I make my living off of the top of the hour ad breaks. That's right, because at the top of the hour, there's a 60-second ad break. Okay? And if you no longer want to see the ads, all you need to do is subscribe. You can do that for $5 dues, or you can do that for free with a Twitch Prime if you have a fucking Twitch Prime, bro. Mate, if you have a fucking Twitch Prime, mate, then all you need to do is use your fucking Twitch Primes. It's fucking free. That's right, but the top of the hour ad break comes nonetheless. Here it is.
LGBTQ plus community have been supportive of him. In other words, Variety magazine, and this is the importance of language. They are now saying that, and I think LGBTQ is being too generous, just to be clear. People used to accuse me of straw manning 4 years ago. When I would say LGBTQ plus, they would go, no one actually asked you to say that. It's LGBT. When the fact is, I was at a feminist film festival. It was LGBTQ AAIP plus. Variety is saying you are factually or grammatically incorrect.
I think one of the funniest parts about being a conservative, and this is just me, is that like in order to be like appropriately bigoted, I feel like they have to learn so much about like being gay, so much about like the naming conventions, just so they can purposely be bigoted. Like it's not organic. Like you're constantly thinking about what trans people are up to. You're thinking about what trans people are up to more than fucking trans people, okay? And you're getting mad about that nonstop. It's fucking pathological. It's so funny. You are just like so insanely cucked by all of the SJW shit that you fucking cry about because it occupies such a gigantic part of your mind. It's awesome.
You do not write at minimum the plus. They went out of their way to imply that Dave Chappelle is hateful for saying LGBTQ. Right there. Sick. Correction.
No, because he said LBGT. Like, that's why they put that in there. Okay, that's it.
You know that Dave is insensitive here and missing. That's the point. Now, if you consider that as factually...
No, it's because he said LBGT. That's it. What the fuck? And that's like not... It's not an implication that... Oh my God. He literally fucking recognizes that like... He recognizes that like sick is just added when they're saying like we didn't make this like editorial issue. Is just like a part of what he said. What the fuck? It's because he put the B before the G. That's it. What the fuck? Why is he talking about this? It's 5 minutes. It's the whole video. Wait, this is all he talked about? What a fucking dumbass.
Correct. Guess what? Now it's a lot easier to accuse people of hate speech. If you're speaking, hate speech is real.
Bro, what happened? This was an opportunity. My boy flubbed it. This was an incredible opportunity to fucking cry about like SJWs and how like he's being canceled and all this other shit. Like, and instead he just spent the entire fucking part of the show where he's supposed to talk about this shit about like editorial decisions made by Vanity Fair. What the fuck?
Really only allowed if you're speaking against reality, against actual facts in order to incite hatred, which is also bullcrap. I think people have the right to be wrong. Yeah. But look at this right here. It just amazes me that someone at Variety, sorry, I don't want to be Hannah Gatsby. Someone doing Variety? Someone at Variety thought, hey, I want to make sure that I point out, talk about a virtue signal, and it's worse than that. They want to make sure that you have to adopt all of their language.
That was the worst, dude. It's so good. So fucking good, dude. It's me.